My name is Emily, and I learned that doing the right thing doesn't always feel right. Sometimes it feels like standing in an empty room, holding proof that you existed, while everyone else pretends you don't. I was sitting in our weekly department meeting on a Tuesday morning. The conference room smelled like burnt coffee and dry erase markers. My manager, David, was scrolling through his laptop when he said something that made my blood stop moving. "Oh, before we wrap up, great work to Alex Martinez in corporate sales. He presented an interesting proposal to the executive team yesterday about experiential marketing integration. Really innovative stuff." I looked up. Experiential marketing integration. Those were my exact words. The framework I'd been building since January. "What proposal?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. David glanced at me. "Alex put together a whole pitch about integrated customer experience touchpoints. The executives loved it." My hands went numb. I'd used those exact phrases. I'd explained them to Tom, my boyfriend, over dinner 10 days ago. And Tom's brother was Alex. All I could think was, how did Alex know? Then I remembered. Tom had mentioned that Alex stopped by that night to pick up a drill. I was in the bedroom changing, but our apartment was small. The kitchen, living room, dining area, it was all one open space. Alex had been there. Alex had heard everything. I didn't say anything for the rest of the meeting. I just wrote down one sentence in my notebook. Check timestamps. Check everything. To understand what happened, I need to go back 3 years. That's when I started at Meridian Global as a marketing assistant. I took every project no one else wanted. I stayed late. 18 months in, I got promoted to analyst. That's when I met Tom at a company happy hour. He worked in logistics. He was kind, supportive. When I had a big presentation, he'd quiz me on my talking points. 6 months into dating, he introduced me to his family. And then there was Alex, Tom's older brother by 4 years. Alex had joined Meridian about 6 months before I met Tom. He worked in corporate sales. From the first moment I met him, something felt off. When Tom mentioned my recent promotion, Alex smiled and said, "Assistant to analyst. Everyone's got to start somewhere." I'd already been an analyst for 8 months. Over the next year, there was this subtle dismissal. When I'd mention a successful project, he'd say, "Marketing is pretty straightforward once you get the templates down." Tom always defended him. "He's competitive. That's just how he is." But I noticed patterns. At a company picnic, I was talking about a new segmentation strategy. Alex was nearby. 2 weeks later, he'd pitched a revolutionary segmentation approach to his team. I let it go. I wanted to believe I was being paranoid. Then came the dinner that changed everything. It was a Friday night, early April. Tom and I ordered Thai food. I was excited because I'd finally cracked a problem I'd been working on for months. "So you know how experiential marketing is usually this separate thing?" I said. "I figured out a framework to integrate them completely." I went through examples. Tom was genuinely excited. This is brilliant." What I didn't know was that Alex had let himself in with the spare key Tom gave him. He'd stood in our kitchen, quiet, listening to every single word I said. The Monday after that meeting, I went straight to my desk and started digging. My hands were shaking as I opened my project folders. There it was, everything. My first notes on experiential integration, dated January 15th. 4 months ago. My research document, January 28th. Email to David asking for budget, February 22nd. Draft presentation, March 5th. Emails to our consumer insights team, March 12th, 19th, 28th. Revised deck, April 2nd. 4 months of work, dozens of documents, hundreds of hours. Alex's presentation to the executive team, April 15th. 8 days after my dinner with Tom. There was no way Alex developed something this complex in 8 days. I needed help. I walked up to our Marina Delgado had been my friend since orientation. "I need advice," I said, closing her office door. I told her everything. The timeline, the dinner, Alex's presentation. Marina was quiet. Then she said, "Emily, if you pursue this, it's going to get ugly. You'll need irrefutable proof. Timestamps aren't enough. You need witnesses, documentation." "I have all of that." "And you're prepared for this to affect your relationship?" "I need to know the truth first. I spent the next 3 days building my case. I made a timeline with screenshots and metadata. I pulled emails where I'd discussed the concept with stakeholders months before Alex's presentation. Then I looked into Alex's recent work. I found an email from March where Alex had asked basic questions. What's the difference between reach and impressions? This was a man who supposedly developed a sophisticated marketing framework in his spare time. I also quietly reached out to 2 people on Alex's team. Did Alex mention working on any marketing projects recently? Sarah from Sales Operations frowned. Marketing? No. He's pure sales. That integrated experience thing came out of nowhere. We were all surprised. I had what I needed. The question was whether I had the courage to use it. That night, I met Tom at a coffee shop. Tom, I need to ask you something. That night I told you about my marketing framework. Did you tell Alex about it? He blinked. What? Alex presented almost the exact same concept to the executive team last week. Tom's face changed. Confusion, then defensiveness. Emily, what are you implying? Did you discuss my project with your brother? I might have mentioned you were working on something cool. Why does it matter? It matters because Alex presented my work as his own. Tom leaned back. That's a serious accusation. I've been developing this for months. He presented 8 days after I told you about it. Using my terminology, my examples. Similar ideas happen all the time in business. Tom, he used the exact phrase emotionally resonant closed loop. I coined that specific phrase. Tom was quiet. Then, maybe he came up with it independently. Do you really believe that? He looked away. I believe my brother wouldn't steal, especially not from my girlfriend. I felt something break inside me. You're choosing to believe him over me, without even asking him about it. I'm not choosing sides. I'm saying you need to be careful. Alex is my brother, Emily. Family. And what am I? He didn't answer right away. That silence told me everything. I stood up. I'm reporting this to HR and my VP. I thought you should know first, Emily. Please don't do this. Think about what you're doing to my family. What about what was done to me? If you do this, it's going to create a huge problem between us. Then I guess we already have a problem. The next morning, I requested a formal meeting with Sarah Chen, our VP of Marketing, and a senior HR representative. At 2 p.m., I walked into the executive conference room. Emily, Sarah said, you wanted to discuss a sensitive matter regarding project attribution. I took a breath. Yes, I believe there's been a misrepresentation of intellectual property development. I opened my laptop and began walking them through everything. The timeline, the emails, the progressive development over for months. The draft I'd submitted to David 2 weeks before Alex's pitch. Then I showed them Alex's presentation date. The email where he'd asked basic marketing questions weeks before supposedly developing an advanced strategy. I don't make this allegation lightly, I said, but the evidence suggests that Alex Martinez presented work that I developed as if it were his own. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. This is serious. We'll need to bring Alex in. 20 minutes later, Alex walked in. He saw me and his expression faltered. What's this about? He asked. Sarah kept her voice neutral. We're reviewing project development timelines for the experiential marketing proposal you presented. Emily has raised some questions. Questions? What kind of questions? When did you start working on this proposal? The HR rep asked. I've been thinking about experiential integration for a while. Few months, maybe. Do you have any documentation of that development process? Alex shifted. I mostly worked on it offline. Personal notes. I spoke up. Can you explain how you became familiar with advanced marketing framework terminology? Your recent emails suggest you were asking foundational questions about marketing metrics as recently as last month. His jaw tightened. Those were clarification questions for a specific client situation. Sarah pulled up something on her laptop. Alex, you sent an email on March 18th asking what CAC meant. Customer acquisition cost is fairly fundamental terminology. And yet 3 weeks later, you presented a sophisticated framework that requires deep understanding of customer journey mapping. I opened another file. I have 47 emails documenting my research and development of this exact framework, dating back to January, all dated months before your presentation. The room was silent. Sarah looked at Alex. Did you have access to Emily's work at any point? No, of course not. Did you discuss this concept with anyone before your presentation? Alex hesitated. I may have mentioned it to some colleagues. Casually. Which colleagues? I don't remember specifically. Alex's face was getting red. What is this, an interrogation? Emily's upset because I presented something good, and now she's trying to claim it was hers. Then help us understand the development process, Sarah said calmly. Show us your early work. I told you. I worked offline, no drafts saved, no research files, no email discussions. Silence. I knew I had one more piece. The painful one. There's one other thing. I discussed this framework with my boyfriend over dinner on April 5th. I went through the entire concept, the terminology, the examples. Sarah looked confused. I'm not sure how that's relevant unless my boyfriend is Tom Martinez. I kept my eyes on Alex. Your brother. Tom mentioned that Alex stopped by our apartment that evening. I was in another room, but the apartment is small. Open floor plan. The room froze. Are you suggesting? I'm stating facts. I discussed my project in detail. Days later, Alex presented remarkably similar work. He had opportunity and motive. Sarah looked at Alex. Is this true? Were you at your brother's apartment on April 5th? Alex stood up abruptly. I'm not answering any more questions without legal representation. Sit down, Alex, Sarah said, her voice hard now. This is a workplace investigation. If you're refusing to cooperate, that will be noted. As we filed out, I felt hollow, not victorious, just empty. In the parking lot, Tom was waiting by my car. You actually did it, he said. You reported my brother. He stole my work, Tom. You're willing to risk everything on that? Your relationship with me? Because if this goes badly, at least I'll know I stood up for myself. Tom looked at me like I was a stranger. I can't believe you're being this selfish. Selfish? I'm selfish for not wanting my work stolen. You're selfish for not thinking about anyone but yourself. And you're thinking about everyone except me. I need to be there for my family right now, Tom said. I thought I was your family. He didn't answer. He just walked away. 2 weeks crawled by. The investigation was thorough. The whole office was buzzing with rumors. Some people avoided eye contact. Then, on a Friday afternoon, I got an email. Please come to Sarah's office at 4 p.m. Sarah gestured to a chair. We've completed our investigation. We verified your timeline and documentation. We also discovered that Alex had similar questions about project attribution 8 months ago with another colleague. Additionally, 2 members of Alex's team confirmed that this project appeared suddenly, without the normal development process they'd expect. Sarah paused. Alex's employment with Meridian Global was terminated this morning. I should have felt relief. Instead, I just felt numb. Your documentation was exemplary, the HR rep added. There was an awkward pause. Then Sarah said, Emily, there's something else we need to discuss. My heart sank. As you know, we've been selecting candidates for the senior marketing strategist position. Your work on this framework was exceptionally strong. I leaned forward. This was it. Sarah's face was carefully neutral. However, the position has been filled. We've offered it to Marcus Chen from our Chicago office. The words hit me like physical blows. What? Marcus has been with the company for 7 years, but the work was mine. The framework, the research. Sarah looked genuinely uncomfortable. Emily, your work was outstanding. That's not in question. Then why? This situation, while resolved appropriately, created some complications. The optics of promoting you immediately after a family-related workplace scandal would raise questions. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I was the victim. I did everything right. And now I'm being punished for it? It's not a punishment, Sarah said. It's about timing. The executive team felt that promoting you now would send the wrong message. What message? That good work matters? That telling the truth matters? Sarah sighed. I fought for you, but the decision came from above my level. I stood up, so doing the right thing cost me everything. No one answered. When will the timing be right, Sarah? I can't promise, of course you can't. I walked out before anyone could see the tears starting. I made it to my car before I started crying. Silent tears that wouldn't stop. I'd done everything right. I'd been thorough, professional. I'd proven my case beyond any doubt. And I'd lost anyway. My phone buzzed. Text from Tom. They fired Alex. I hope you're happy. I stared at the message. I typed and deleted 3 responses before finally writing, I'm not happy. I'm just trying to survive. He didn't respond. That night, I sat in my apartment, the same apartment where I'd excitedly explained my project to Tom. My laptop was open to the project file. 4 months of work. All of it mine. All of it proven. And it had cost me the promotion I deserved and the relationship I'd cherished. I thought about Marina's words. Integrity lets you sleep at night. Eventually, I wasn't sleeping. Not yet. But I wrote, what happened was wrong. What I did was right. These are both true. On Monday morning, I walked back into the office. Some coworkers avoided eye contact. In the break room, I heard whispers. Got Alex fired. They used to date brothers or something? Marina found me at my desk. How are you holding up? Everyone thinks I'm the villain. Not everyone. People who matter know the truth. The truth didn't get me the promotion. No. But Emily, you're still here. You still have your integrity. Integrity doesn't pay my student loans. No, but it lets you look at yourself in the mirror. That afternoon, David assigned me to lead the queue for a digital campaign. It's high visibility, good budget. I want you on point. It wasn't the promotion, but it was something. Wednesday, Tom texted, can we talk? We met at the same coffee shop. He looked tired. Alex is staying with my parents, he said. They're devastated. I'm sorry they're hurting. Are you sorry about what you did? I looked at him carefully. I'm sorry that the truth hurt people. I'm not sorry for telling it. You could have handled it privately. And what? Let him talk me out of it? Tom. He literally stole months of my work. Tom was quiet. Then, my family doesn't understand. What do you think? He looked away. I think you did what you thought was right. And I think it destroyed my family. Just like I can be right and still lose everything. Did you? Lose everything? I thought about the promotion that went to someone else. The relationship sitting across from me, broken beyond repair. Yeah, I said quietly, pretty much. I wish things were different. Me too. I watched him leave for the second time. This time, I knew it was final. That evening, I opened my laptop. The project file stared back at me. My work, my ideas, no one could take that away. Alex had tried. He'd failed, but proving it had cost more than I'd imagined. None of it felt like victory. It felt like survival. I opened a new document and started typing. What I learned. Doing the right thing doesn't guarantee a happy ending. Sometimes you do everything right and still lose. But the alternative, staying silent, letting someone steal your work, that would have cost something too. Something that couldn't be measured in promotions or relationships. It would have cost me myself. I saved the document and closed my laptop. Tomorrow I'd go back to the office. I'd lead the Q4 campaign. I'd deal with whispers. I'd build new work, protecting it better. I'd survive. People keep asking me if it was worth it. If exposing Alex was worth losing the promotion, worth losing Tom. I don't know yet. Maybe I never will. What I do know is this. I couldn't have stayed silent. Not because I'm brave, I'm terrified every day that this decision will follow me. But every time I thought about staying quiet, I imagined sitting in another meeting, hearing Alex present my work, and doing nothing. I imagined looking at myself in the mirror and seeing someone who let herself be erased. I couldn't live like that. The truth didn't set me free. It didn't get me what I deserved. But it meant that when I opened that project file, I knew it was mine. The promotion went to someone else. Fine, I'll build something new. The relationship ended. It hurts. But Tom chose his family's comfort over my truth. The office is complicated now, but the people who matter know what happened. And I know what I did. Someone once told me that integrity is what you do when watching costs you everything. I'm learning what that means. It means going to work every day even when people whisper. It means leading campaigns even though someone else got the title I earned. It means accepting that doing the right thing sometimes means losing everything you thought you wanted. I'm not okay with it yet. Not completely. But I'm here, still standing, still working, still mine. And maybe that's not victory. Maybe it's just survival. But right now, survival is enough. Because the alternative, becoming someone who stays silent while being erased, that would have been worse. I'd rather be the woman who fought and lost than the woman who never fought at all. Even if it costs me everything I thought I wanted. That person I see in the mirror every morning, she's someone I can live with. And right now, that's the only victory that matters.